Welcome to Kiss the Reviews. I'm Armando. That's Corey. And today we're doing a KTR reboot. This is 1997's Kiss the Girls, Part 2. Let's get into things, shall we? And before we get into the cast, if you want to reach out and follow me or Corey on Twitter, you can follow me at Junior D's. You can follow Corey at Corey_idol. And if you want to follow the show, you can follow us at Kiss the Reviews on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. So let's get into the cast. 1997's Kiss the Girls. This film stars Morgan Freeman as Dr. Alex Cross, Ashley Judd as Kate Mctiernan, and Cary Elwes as Nick Ruskin.
I have to say, the first time I watched this, we watched it together. It was the inaugural show. It was the entire reason the show is named Kiss the Reviews.
Yep.
Everything, this show originated from this movie.
Yes.
The first time we watched it, I watched it. I won't speak for you because I know how much you just love that, especially when I do it. But I won't speak for you. But when we first watched it, I intentionally sat down looking for all of the problems in this movie.
That's fair. That's fair.
And I took notes upon notes upon notes about every little piece of shit I could find wrong with it. This time, which is more of our style 4 years later, is to just watch the movie. Still watch it, listen to the dialogue, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
But we don't seek out to trash any movie. It would be awesome if we could come on here and love every single movie we do. It's just not reality. And we're grown-ups. We're not fucking shills like some other fucking turd podcasts out there I won't mention. But I digress. So this time on the go-through for, rewatching it, just watching it to watch the movie and give it its shot, it's a pretty good fucking movie.
No, it is a pretty good movie. And I won't let you speak for me ever. But with that said, you're partially right. For me, I was just looking for the joke. I was looking for how ridiculous, because when we watched it originally, we were just laughing because of how ridiculous some of the scenes were. And we're like, oh my God, I never realized how dumb this was or how ridiculous this plot line was, or whatever.
Right.
So I just watched it. It was literally for the joke. I was doing everything I could for the joke, and in doing so, you basically rip this movie apart. But with that said, and that's part of the reason that I wanted to redo it. The other part is we've had people ask us, if there's one episode you could redo, which would it be? And it was always this one. And for me, it's because the show has grown so much. It's better just as a whole. It's shot better. The quality's better. Everything is better. The jokes are better. So
they just might be recycled. I don't know if they're going to be better.
Yeah, but I think everything about what we do is better. So I wanted to see if we could take a second shot at it. And see if we could do a better job with it, basically. And I kind of came away with the same thing. I still really, really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
But compared to a lot of the movies we do and a lot of these type of, thriller and who's outsmarting who, and it's a cat and mouse game.
Yep.
This actually isn't as bad as a lot.
Yes.
Of other movies that we've had to review like this. So
yeah.
Oh, there it is, just like you said.
So the movie opens with a voiceover from Casanova describing his first 3 victims, Cody Pierce, her sister, their mom, and he lived in the attic and watched them until he decided to declare himself and show them how much that they loved him. Right off the bat, okay, if we're going back and we'll reference the original show a few times, this storyline is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, dude. Like,
Because he lived in their attic for like 3 months. Like, that was the one thing I could never get past watching this again and just listening to the word, because words and things. You know what I'm talking about. He's saying he's saying words and things, and those words are ridiculous. He just like stayed in their attic for 3 months.
I lived in the attic. I was watching.
Yeah, no, I would have thought this was ridiculous had I not lived in the world now where people are literally coming out of the walls and it's like, oh, I lived back there for years and I've been the one eating your yogurt. Like, this happens way too regularly. Where I will call bullshit on it, though, is that he's a fucking kid. No little shit-ass kid I have ever heard of is going to keep their fucking mouth shut for 3 months, living in an attic, waiting until they get fucking enough puberty in them to go down and start shraping an entire family. Yeah. Which also is like, dude. The first one accepted it and kissed me back. No, she didn't. She didn't. You made that part up.
You were right.
You're Casanova. You love these women. So if I think you're kissing me back and you're accepting me, I'm not killing you. I'm like, yay, I hit the jackpot on go one. You know how many times it took me to hit the jackpot? Never. I haven't fucking done it yet.
My heart goes out to you.
Like, his opening monologue is so funny and it's so sanctimonious.
Yes.
And of course, it's a Southern killer. Because he's like, I declared myself. I laid my lips upon thee, and she accepted it and kissed me back. Of course it's a Southern killer, you jerk off.
So we then cut to Dr. Alex Cross coaching kids boxing until he gets a call to talk down a woman who just murdered her husband. And by talking her down as a forensic psychologist, I mean he almost tries to kill her, make her kill herself. But I did realize this time around. Because we've done so many movies, right? And a lot of movies with cops as like one of the lead characters. Dude, if there is a movie with a cop as a lead and said cop wears a leather jacket, I'm bought in. I'm immediately all in to that movie. You can't get cooler than a detective or in this case, a forensic psychologist who's wearing like a Donnie Brasco fucking leather. I love it. And Morgan Freeman pulls it off flawlessly.
He absolutely does. I simply go more of the poncho route, like Serpico.
Yeah.
If you're not running around in a poncho like in the 70s, I don't even want to fucking know your name.
Cross then gets notified that his niece Naomi has been missing for days. He vows to find her, and we get the whole like, this is out of your jurisdiction, and you can't do this, and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I'll just call him and everything will be fine. I'll just show up and it'll be fucking dope. And they'll let me in.
And what's funny is, they do.
Yeah.
He literally meets one racist guy at the front who's like, yeah, you wait here, son. We'll get to you when we get to you. And then, like, he just gets up and walks through the entire police station, goes back to the evidence, board where they have their whole theory plotted out.
Yeah.
And he's just staring at it, waiting for them to get back. And he still doesn't meet the chief. He's driven out to a crime scene that he's allowed to go into and investigate to see if it's a person he knows. At which point he meets the police chief, who basically is like, hey, fella, here's a Southern riddle for you that's supposed to mean something that ultimately means basically, yeah, do what you fucking want. I don't care.
Well,
because he tells him, he's like, come, you can hang out with us and you can follow us along, but don't piss in my pool if it's a Tuesday in July because Mama June don't like to cook pies. Okay, whatever the fuck that means, guy.
Listen, he basically tells him like, yeah, you could tag along in things and talk to us and stuff, but don't like take over this investigation, which 5 seconds later, he takes over the entire investigation.
You were right.
And then to top it off, the FBI shows up.
Yes.
Now, the FBI has to be invited in order to participate in any kind of investigation on a local level.
Yep.
So they have been invited in. Once the FBI is invited in, they ain't leaving.
Yep.
That's just kind of the way it works. They are now in charge. So Alex Cross talking to this police chief and having to go through this whole rigmarole is fucking irrelevant because one of his best friends is on the FBI task force on serial killers. They're already there. He could have went up there and the chief could have been like, nah, son, we only let white cops on this police force. Go back to Washington, D.C., you Yankee bastard. And then the FBI guy showed up and was like, hey, buddy, what do you want to do? You want to help us investigate? We could use a hand. And the police chief's like, tall tarnations, storms off. That could have happened too. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, no, absolutely, because he talks to the police chief, then he talks to his buddy in the FBI 5 seconds later, and he's like, he's now one of the lead detectives in this whole fucking investigation. So
just like you said, completely takes it over.
We then see Dr. Kate McTiernan at work, and then she's taken Billy Blank's Tybo classes.
I think she's more likely taking Andrew Tate self-defense classes, because the guy she's sparring with just beats the shit out of her.
Yep.
And Billy Blanks is like, hey, Ethan, watch your contact, bro. What are you doing?
Ethan, what are you doing? Watch your contact, okay?
This is a class where we teach women self-defense. The guy is only there with boxing gloves on to be like a punching dummy that actually moves.
Yeah.
He is never supposed to hit them. So the fact that this guy the whole time is just being a creeper, you know what I mean? He's super creepy and he's kind of just immediately hates her and then just wholesale kicks the shit out of her. And you're like, hey, bro. And what's funny is it's not even a demand that he watches his contact. He's like, hey, watch your contact, okay?
Is that okay?
Hey, fuck you. That's how I feel.
Hey, fuck you.
She gets abducted by Casanova in her house, right? And she puts up a fight, you know, because of Billy Blanks. But Casanova hits Kate with the old fish tank at the bottom of the stairs gag. And so she goes, falls into the fucking fish tank, and he hits her with the syringe to the neck. And then the banana in the tailpipe.
We're not going to fall for a banana in the tailpipe.
You're not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe?
I think this is also important for anybody trying to like adapt a novel into a screenplay, because I think this was the fatal error this movie made. The big flaw here is if I have a book and it becomes a nationwide bestseller, right? That's dope. And almost everybody knows Alex Cross. They've read some of the books. Almost. There are a group of people that don't do reading and just go to movies. And those people who are showing up don't know who the fuck Alex Cross is.
Yeah.
So other than the fact that it's dope-ass Morgan Freeman just basically running around town being like, I'm a world police chief. Let me do what I want to do.
Yeah.
They don't get it. And this movie spends more time on Kate and how Kate is a fighter and Kate is fiercely independent.
Not going to settle for anything less.
Problem is, we're spending time on a character who's in one book. You're trying to develop a franchise here, my friend, around Alex Cross with Morgan fucking Freeman as the lead. Develop him more and spend less time on Kate deciding she's going to become a detective too? Halfway through the fucking movie?
For you, a security nightmare. For him, paradise.
Cross actually notices Naomi's violin is missing when he goes to her like dorm room, and he goes to see her boyfriend here. And we have the boyfriend now, and they give the boyfriend some like this little arc of being like a real like a smart kid. And
I was gonna say this is where I will applaud their writing, because they did a really good job introducing him as an angry black man. Right?
Yeah.
Like he's getting in the fight on the basketball court, and they're setting him up to where maybe this guy he could be violent, right? Like, him and Naomi, I don't know. He seems aggressive. And then they totally flip that on its fucking head and demonstrate how smart he is to even where the point where Morgan Freeman's like, I should have known. Like, my niece wasn't going to mess around with a knucklehead. Like, exactly. Like, that was such a good way of going about it, and allows him, when he decides he wants to be a detective, because apparently you can citizens arrest in the Durham area.
Yeah.
I think that's just a thing.
Yeah.
So everybody's joining the Citizens Brigade, but he actually serves a fucking point when he does it.
Yes.
Because he knows things and helps them with the things he knows. Whereas Kate's like, wait a second, I hear a river. It's like, yeah, bitch, we know there's a river here. Thanks for helping.
You jumped into it.
Yeah. How many times we got to go over this?
Yeah. So, and by the way, the original line, the knucklehead line, the original line that was written was just Morgan Freeman going, fucking nerd. That was the original line. So it just didn't play well for test audiences.
No, I couldn't hear him saying that at all. No.
So Cross goes to see one of Naomi's therapists, who seems to be a really swell kind of guy and not a creep at all. And finally, Kate gets enough strength to Billy Blanks her way out of the cell. She runs away from Casanova, runs through the woods, jumps off a cliff into the water, and she's found by some boys fishing, and the cops are called, and she's taken to the hospital.
I like that they didn't let up. I don't think a lot of leads, specifically lead actresses in this role, would have allowed their face to get that fucked up. Even for the short amount of time it is. But there's a good 10, 15, 20 minutes maybe even of this film where Ashley Judd's face is just cut to shit. And what you normally see in these types of movies is like, there's a cut right on the titty meat, and then across on the arm, and then like, oh, my thigh got cut, and right through my jeans, so now you could almost see some. That's the bullshit they do in these types of movies. So the fact that they like really went for it, and she was down for that, is fantastic.
You were right.
This is when Cross pushes his way into getting access to Kate. The doctor can't figure out, nobody can figure out why Kate is so fucked up, so Cross does some research for 5 minutes and he cracks the code. And then Kate wakes up and they immediately have, this is the one thing that in the first review that we did that made me laugh, and it still to this day does, is that she wakes up, Cross is like, let me go get the doctor, you're all good. The next day it's like, press conference, all right, get up there. And it's like, oh, she wanted to do it. I was like, did she want to do it, or did the FBI go, you're doing a press conference?
Yeah, there's a lot through this part that I am not a fan of at all. Yeah. You know, they make a point to say that she was not raped at all.
Yes.
By Casanova.
A couple of times.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
But also, her home was broken into, she was kidnapped by a strange man, drugged by a strange man for days or maybe weeks, fought him multiple times, and then had to throw herself off a fucking cliff into a river just to hope to try and escape. Right?
Yes. Yep.
All of this happens. So what do? Once you solve the is she gonna wake up and what drug is she on case, you put a strange man in the room constantly touching her fucking forehead as she's waking up from being drugged, going, It's okay. It's okay. That's like the last fucking thing you should do, especially when the doctor, who was a female, tells you she's got PTSD. Yeah. You should not be in that room. No, it's personal. And this is what my favorite part is the doctor says,
I'm sorry, but she does not need another doctor.
And he says, look, I'm not trying to take over here. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when she's like, oh, okay, right this way. So I have this piece of advice for the entire fucking state of North Carolina, apparently.
Corey's Life Lessons.
Hi, North Carolina. Uncle Corey here. Nobody wants your fucking job. Nobody's trying to tell you how to do your job. If somebody can help you, though, do your job more effectively, let's say in a, I don't know, life-saving or death prevention-esque style profession, let them fucking help. What do you think, Alex Cross wants to move to fucking North Carolina after he saves this chick? Get the fuck out of here. This is so absurd. I hated this. Every single person he runs into goes, I can't let you do this. And he goes, I'm not trying to take your job. And they go, oh, I can let you do this. Here. That's the only thing that's holding you back from getting help with anything, is fear of losing your job.
You were correct.
Naomi here holds this private concerto for Casanova and the girls while Cross does some digging on the drug that was in Kate's system. So Cross then finds a plastic surgeon in Cali that ordered the drug. So they all fly to Cali to go get the plastic surgeon. They follow him to a nightclub, and after being told to stay behind, Kate goes into said club. First review, we had an issue. I still got an issue. Why Jeremy Piven is even in this movie is beyond me, because his character serves no purpose and he's useless as a cop.
People like seeing him get shot.
If you're Cross, right, and it's like, found this drug, and there's a fucking plastic surgeon. He's the only one that's ordered said drug, and he ordered pallets of it apparently. So he's not trying to hide shit, I guess. So we're gonna fly out to Cali. I'm gonna call fucking somebody that I know out in Cali, and we're gonna fucking hook up and try to set up booby traps for this guy. The first call you make is to Kate, the victim, who literally just escaped, let's call it, 2 weeks prior? A week prior? And you're like, hey, I know you're still a little fucked up. Do you want to fly across the country with me to go, stalk this guy and get him arrested? Because he doesn't need her to ID him, because he literally says, stay in the car. We know who it is.
He has no face either. She couldn't ID him. She can maybe make out a voice at best.
Yes.
But there's nothing she knows about this man.
There's no reason for her to be there, but Daphne's got to show up in the fucking mystery machine. So she gets out there and she helps.
And this was she helps. She literally says, I'm going in. And Jeremy Piven says, no, you can't do this. After Alex Cross has already said, stay in the fucking car, because if he recognizes you, he's going to rabbit and my niece dies.
What about you?
20 years of experience blending in. You stay with Henry.
And so you have, I don't know, 5-10 minutes where you're like, I can sit in the car, and then your favorite song ended, and you're like, all right, time to go. Jeremy Piven says, do not do this. We're going back to the car, and you're like, no, your job's to help me blend in. Help me blend. And then you ditch him. You immediately ditch him when you get your way.
Yeah.
And not only do you do that, you walk right up to the two guys who are surveilling the serial killer. Your idea of blending in is staring right at him and going, is that him? Hey, is that guy over there playing pool and sticking his tongue down that blonde lady's throat? That sure looks like him. I ain't fucking taking my eyes off of him. That might be him.
To the point where Morgan Freeman pulls a sly slide in front of her as the guy's walking out so he doesn't fucking ID her.
Dude, for the love of fucking Christ. I am all for strong, independent, fierce fighting women in movies. I fucking love them. That's why I'm a fucking Regina King fan till I die. What I don't like is Karens walking in this motherfucker like they own some shit and just thinking they can white girl their fucking way out of any situation.
You were correct.
Yeah, she's like, this is boring. Why are we just sitting here? And why are you talking about minor league baseball prospects, Jeremy Piven? Shut the fuck up. I'm going in the club. It's Jeremy Piven's fault that she goes into this club. Because he's like, hey, got any good prospects at second base in Raleigh-Durham, huh?
Durham Bulls, right? AAA. Got any prospects?
Look, man, he's a guy that knows two things: policing and baseball. And after meeting Ashley Judd for 15 minutes, he's like, this bitch knows nothing about police work. I'll just shoot for baseball? We got to talk about something.
Apparently.
And then she fucking highbrows him with that.
Well,
like,
and then
you guys got any prospects? She's like, are you serious? Are you serious? You think I know about baseball? I'm a smart doctor. I know about smart doctor things, like policing. Let's go police now.
Henry, help me blend in. Come on.
So they track him back to this cabin. He tries to abduct this woman and tie her up or whatever. They burst in. He runs. He gets away. And then the FBI finds the surgeon's house. They discover his refrigerator shrine and realize that there are two Casanovas competing on the East and West Coast. And when they get back to Durham, the Durham police then arrest Dr. Sachs, Naomi's therapist, on a suspicion that he may be the East Coast Casanova. And Cross's interrogation of Sachs does not go well.
No, dude, this is rough. And this is why specifically they tell you, like, this, you're personally involved in this. You can't interview this person the way that he needs to be interviewed. And I don't give a fuck how smart you think you're the great and powerful Oz, the great and powerful Alex Cross. It doesn't fucking matter. It's personal. And when somebody is describing how much they liked setting your niece up so you could fuck her and tie her up and all the weird shit she likes doing, no, dude, that doesn't work.
After Kate remembers hearing, water and things when she was held captive, with the help of Naomi's boyfriend, Cross and Kate and her boyfriend go through the woods until Cross hears a gunshot, which comes from both Casanovas in the dungeon, in the fuck dungeon, arguing and fighting over Casanova stuff.
So Alex Cross here went to LA.
Yeah.
Took the victim, went to LA, went vigilante.
Yep.
Right? And got a fucking cop shot. He didn't die. They said he has like months of rehab or whatever, but they got a cop shot.
Yes.
The FBI guy, his buddy, is like, dude, you're fucking done. Like, we can't do this. You didn't let us in on any of this. And he goes, no, please don't shut me out. It's Naomi. And they go, all right, come on. Like, let's look at this shit. And the very next thing he does is not tell the FBI that he has a lead because Kate finally decided to remember water was running.
Yes.
Again, you jump into a fucking river and you're in a cave that's dripping. But whatever. So you do, as Alex does here, exactly what you shouldn't do and go out and don't call the FBI and go on your own investigation with the victim and another civilian. You took less cops and more civilians. What in the fuck are we doing?
What is happening?
Well, and it was funny because, so he hears the shit, right? He hears the gunshot and he goes and he finds a door and he goes in and blah, blah, blah. And, Kate's right behind and then she just disappears for a little bit. The boyfriend, you never see him for the rest of the movie.
No, he's still in the woods.
He just disappears. He was he's out in the middle of the woods like, Alex, hey, I'm over here.
He got kidnapped by the family from Get Out.
He goes in, he chases both Casanovas through the woods. There's some gunplay. Cross finally shoots the plastic surgeon, but the local Casanova gets away. The FBI then descends on the fuck dungeon and starts gathering clues and evidence and things.
I noticed this for the first time ever in watching this scene. So when they're going through the fuck dungeon, right?
Yep.
And they're like, look, we got all these plans that he made of the people's houses and the dossiers he made on all his victims. Like, we got them. He never used gloves with these. We got his fingerprints.
Yes.
Get all of this to Quantico in Virginia? They can't run fingerprints in North Carolina?
Is it possible this story is true? Yes, it is.
And he even goes, if you can't get a plane, buy one. That's going to take some time too. That's not a Hertz rental car. You need a lot of money to do that in some time. And then a crew. My mind was fucking blown with this. Like, no wonder Cary Elwes is able to just walk around freely for the rest of this movie with no regard for the fact that he is completely outed and busted. No, they have his fingerprints. They got him. And he's like, well, they're in Quantico. I guess it's going to take him 45 weeks to go through by hand of all the fingerprints they got in the country. This is fucking ridiculous.
This is such a crock of shit.
If it was, I don't know, in the 70s or like, okay, it would make sense. But like we're in 97, and this isn't a period piece. Like this takes place in present day. So, like, what are we doing here? But you're absolutely right. But then after this, we cut to Cross visiting Naomi at the hospital, and he brings her the violin with the new strings for new music and all of that.
I can't remember if I brought it up or not, but dude, I don't care. It's been 4 years, and I'm standing by what the fuck I probably said in the last one. This woman was kidnapped and made to bring her violin with her by a guy named Casanova who shrapes all of his victims. And she had to bring her violin because she is exceptional. She excels at that violin.
Yes.
And so before he shrapes her, she has to play the violin. And so Alex Cross, again, with the fucking fantastic idea of bedside manner that he did with fucking Kate at the beginning of the goddamn movie, decides now, I also want to put this in mind, because I am forgetting one other person. He told the chick at the beginning to put the gun to her head.
Look, it's just as effective if you put it to your temple.
3 women now. He has terrible bedside manner with. Because he brings his niece, who is a fucking victim, forced to play her violin every time before she was shraped, multiple times, her fucking violin, and is like, ta-da, look what I got for you. Like it was a puppy.
New strings for new music?
No! New strings for new nightmares, motherfucker. That's insane.
How about a whole new instrument? How about I bought you an oboe?
Have you ever seen the trumpet? It's really small.
I got you drumsticks. I got you a drum set at home. You could just fucking go crazy. It'll be fucking... Don't even buy her a string instrument. Just like, not a guitar, not a bass. Go drums, oboe, fucking...
harmonica, for the love of God. Buy her a triangle. Anything but bringing back this thing.
Kate then invites Cross over to her place for dinner. Cut to Kate's house where she has cops standing post, and Cross is at his hotel looking over all the pictures and evidence and realizes that Casanova is Nick Ruskin, none other than Nick Ruskin. And
what?
Nick is at Kate's house. Ruskin cuts the one phone line while Cross tries to call Kate. Nick Ruskin is a cop. Nick Ruskin isn't a moron with a YouTube channel like me or you. Like, and I'm a moron. I'm a certified moron. Mm-hmm. If I were to go in 1997, when cell phones weren't all the rage, and everybody had a landline, everybody didn't have one landline. Everybody had multiple landlines throughout the house. One in the bedroom, one in the family room, one in the kitchen. One of those was probably cordless, and the rest of them were all corded, right? He cuts to one, and then he's like, that'll thwart everybody from calling here. Why? Because she's got one phone in the fucking house?
Okay, that... just cutting the cord alone, I'm thinking why.
It stops that one phone from ringing. That's it.
Even, like... can you not get hard if it's ringing? You can't answer it when you're going to be doing what you're doing. So I don't understand why you're even cutting the cord. You don't have to. There is literally no reason for him to do this.
No, and there's okay. So we'll
other
go with your
than
theory.
other than the convenience.
Yes. Forget my theory, where, like, let's say you don't even cut it. Let the phone ring. The reason he cuts it is because he wants to play some sort of game where he's like, yeah, I'm cutting carrots, and you can tell a lot about somebody through the trash that they have and how many men you've been with. When your period is. Guy, settle the fuck down. Just, if you're gonna murder, just get to the murder. If you're gonna do the shraping, just, like, that's what you do. But because, like, you're Casanova, you gotta have a fucking monologue. Get that, you self-important prick. Get out of here. Don't cut the cord. Just get to your thing. Go do the thing.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go ahead and offer this piece of advice.
Corey's life lessons.
Hi, lovers out there. Uncle Corey here. I think it's all super dope that you are totally comfortable with a woman's period. It's a thing that happens, and it's not that big of a deal. You are correct in that assertion. What you don't do is make things really fucking awkward by demonstrating that, just by mentioning, like, oh, I can tell when you menstruate by going through your fucking trash, right? That's fuck. Just wait until she asks you to go buy tampons. She will. It always happens at some point in time. And then just go get the tampons and hand them back to her and be like, yeah. Are you good? Need anything else? Cool. Have a good day. That's it. That's how you demonstrate that a period is just a period. And it's okay. It happens to 51% of the population. What you don't do, though, is bring up finding their used tampons in the trash as a way to stalk you.
Yeah, don't do that.
They got enough fucking problems just being women in the world.
You were right.
Well, and here, Ruskin then eventually gets to reveal that he is Casanova, and Kate and Ruskin then fight in the kitchen until she finally cuffs him to the stove. He moves the stove, breaks the gas line, and as he goes for his lighter, Cross comes in with his gun drawn. As he talks to Ruskin, he puts his gun down, and then Ruskin goes to blow them all up, and Cross picks up the gun, shoots him through the carton of milk. End of movie.
So, why is Kate unable to move?
Because he that's a great question, and I'm going to answer that, and then I got to don't do that as well.
Okay.
They're wrestling.
Yeah.
He falls on top of her.
Yeah.
Right. And
he's on top of her, and she brings the pots down on his back.
Yeah.
They fall off.
He slices her.
Just one tiny little cut. I mean, it's deep, but it's not that big at all. And she literally wraps a tourniquet around it immediately and is running, and then collapses into the corner and is. She looks like Kane in Menace to Society after he got shot.
Well, she almost got abducted and murdered for the second time in an hour and a half. I mean, I don't know. I've never been in that situation, but she could have just...
If you're that traumatized from the first experience and, like, actually having to confront this guy, why the fuck are you going into a bar in LA to look at the fucking guy? You should have never been there. That's my point. If it's trauma, that's fine. But if you're trauma now, you should have been trauma fucking then, when it happened a lot fucking sooner. But you couldn't do that.
I gotta. It's more of a PSA rather than a don't do that. But I'm gonna do a don't do that for everybody.
Don't do that. It's not good for you.
Hi, people that are, I don't know, I guess maybe getting abducted. If as you're about to get abducted, you realize that this is the person that's going to do this to you, because they've been doing a monologue for a half an hour, and they give you a weapon, like I don't know, a butcher's knife. When they come at you and they're like, yeah, what are you going to do with that? Don't do this. No crisscross. Stabby stab. So if it goes in, it goes in. That does a lot of damage. This doesn't do shit, okay? It might sting where they got to put like peroxide on it, but that's about it. Stabby stab, no slashy slash. Don't do that.
And make it short stabs, because Kate does the thing here too where she stabs him with the knife before they have the big fight, and he's like, oh, good girl. But then she takes it away and does like this big like arc where she's gonna like fucking slicing a 4-iron out of the rough. She's trying to fucking whack at him, and it's like, bro, if that was shorter, he couldn't have grabbed your arm like that. Like, that's defensible. Keep that shit tight.
Exactly.
Small and tight package.
What did Billy Blanks teach you? God.
That's it. That's it. Wait, I tell you what, he taught her how to shadow box, but not actually box, because she pretends to throw a lot of elbows at invisible men and then literally delivers 0 elbows the entire movie to a human being.
You were right.
That's why whenever you're confronted by somebody and they get aggressive and they're like, bro, I know fucking jujitsu. 9 times out of 10, they ain't fucking Joe Rogan. They're Kate. They took a class and they think they know what the fuck they're doing.
They took a class at the Y. They didn't even take a class from Billy Blanks.
Mm-hmm. You know who really takes jujitsu? The guys that don't tell you they do, and they just put you in the holds and fucking tap you out.
And you're just like,
yeah. You're asleep and pooping your pants in 13 seconds. Ask Steven Seagal how he knows.
Oh my God, exactly. But dude, at the end of the day, listen, I didn't even go back. I don't know about you. I didn't even go back and watch the review because I didn't want it to taint my thought of the movie this time around. So I don't even remember really, because it was 4 years ago, and I don't remember reviews we did a week ago. So I don't remember exactly what we said, especially like, does it hold up? Does it not hold up? I still think this holds up. I still think it's a good movie. There's other, like some of these other ones that are still good movies or shot well. There's a lot of ridiculousness going on. But now that we have 4 years of movies under our belt, this is so much better than a lot of movies we've reviewed. Like, this is a good movie with some ridiculous parts throughout.
Yeah, look, anytime, I don't give a fuck what book it is. I don't care. Anytime you take a book and you turn it into a movie, you lose so much context from every single scene, every single look the actors give each other, everything. You lose a ton of it. And that is the only thing wrong with this movie, was they did that. They tried to adapt this novel, and personally, I think they focused in the wrong areas a little bit too hard, especially for our first introduction into Alex Cross as a moviegoer.
Yeah.
So that was disappointing. That being said, I have read the books, so I know the characters. When he just mentions leaving the kids with Nana and this person and who his sister is and his cousin who meets him in LA and how they grew up, I know all of that backstory because I've read the books. So I get it. Yeah. But if I was just watching this for the first time and was not a reader, bro, I would be entertained, but I would have a lot of questions. What makes fucking Alex Cross so fucking cool, other than Morgan Freeman?
Yeah, well, that's
because there's literally nothing. They demonstrate nothing special about him other than the fact that he's Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, no, that's why they had to get Morgan Freeman to play him, because like you had to get somebody of that stature to play this character so people wouldn't question why he was so special.
Well, yeah, and if you don't believe that, watch the Alex Cross movie with Tyler Perry and you'll see exactly what Armando's talking about.
You were right.
I don't know what your thoughts are, dude. I still like this. I still like this movie, man. It's super entertaining.
No, it is. If you, again, this is one of those things where it's our job to critically review this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, I will be harsher than I am when I'm normally watching a movie. But if I just wanted to sit down and enjoy 2 hours, have a movie night with the wife and the kids, well, probably not the kids, because there's a lot of talk about vaginal tearing. But if I wanted to have a movie night with the wife and we like, this kind of thriller, absolutely I'm watching this.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Ashley Judd is great. Morgan Freeman's great. Everybody does their jobs very well. Cary Elwes is fantastic. Tony Goldwyn is a fantastic just creep.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly, like, from an entertainment standpoint, I got nothing but good things to say about it. I think it's lacking in a lot of areas and could have been a lot better. But realistically, like, nobody gives a shit about that stuff the way I do. I'm an asshole.
Yeah. That's something we can all agree on. No, I agree. I agree with all of that. I really don't have anything else. I'm glad we did this because it gave me a different perspective on the movie now.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all I got. Do you got anything else for this one?
No, if there are, though, any other of our old reviews, I mean, they need to be 3-4 years old for this conversation to even happen, though. Let us know. If enough people want us to review 1 or 2 more that we did in the past, we'll do it whenever we fucking want to do
it. Well, on that note, for Corey, I'm Armando. This is Kiss the Reviews, and this was 1997's Our Namesake, Kiss the Girls.